Beautiful people, amazing people, welcome to the Queerious Quest with your girl T. If you've watched some of my content already, thank you very much and welcome back. If you're new to the channel, hello and welcome. I'm your girl T and this is the Queerious Quest. So you've all seen by the title of the video that today I'm going to talk about heteronormativity. Some of you may be really familiar with this term already, and some of you may be sitting there like, whoa, what does heteronormativity even mean? So before I get into the rest of the video, I'd like to just start off by basically, defining what heteronormativity is and what it's all about. So I'm pretty sure that a lot of you are very familiar with the term heterosexuality, which is just basically this notion of a man and a woman dating each other, opposite sex being together, right? Now, heteronormativity is basically making this the norm, which is basically what we're exposed to every day in our lives and in the world that we live in. The formal definition of heteronormativity is, let me get it for you guys, denoting or relating to a worldview that promotes heterosexuality as the normal or preferred sexual orientation. Again, as I said, guys, this is just, again, the fact that the world we live in, to be normal, you need to be heterosexual. As a woman, you need to be with a man. As a man, you need to be with a woman. Anything other than that, you're seen as not normal. High school is probably where I really started to grasp what heteronormativity was. It probably started when we were, so I went to an all-girls high school and our brother's school was next door and they were an all-boys school. And every year of my high school life, literally every single solitary year on Valentine's Day, we were forced to learn some love songs and we needed to go to the boys' school next door and we needed to serenade to them, sing these romantically love songs to these boys. And you can imagine how uninterested I was, because why am I singing to some boy who I have zero interest in? Maybe if you took me to the girls' school, maybe I would have been more interested, I don't know. But again, that's a classic example of heteronormativity at play, where the assumption is that because there are girls only in the school, surely all these 700, 800 girls like men, Another classic example from high school that I'm sure that many of you have experienced is life orientation class. Basically when we started being taught about relationships, sex, sexual health. And again, it was always taken from a heterosexual perspective. We're always taught about sex from the perspective of a penis and a vagina, a man and a woman. And I mean, you're in the place of learning. And for you not to acknowledge that this isn't the only way to have sex is very dangerous, because you can imagine if someone is sitting there in their class and they're thinking that, I can only get an STD by having sex with a man as a woman, So if I'm going to go have sex with a woman, I can't get an STD, and we know that this is very false. So again, in a place of learning, I think it's very important to acknowledge that sex isn't necessarily only about, having sex with a man and a woman. It's very important to acknowledge all the different types of sex that can be had. And on the topic of sex, I don't know what it is, but this concept of virginity suddenly falls away when we're talking about sex from a homosexual perspective. The question you always get is, how do lesbians lose their virginity? Because, they just can't fathom that sex isn't this one thing that they are so used to, which is always between a man and a woman. Whereas we know that this isn't the only way sex is, Another one, actually, all of you guys, if you go on Pinterest right now and search wedding cakes, what are you gonna see? A little stencil of a man and a little stencil of a woman, because again, weddings are always taken from the perspective of a man and a woman. You know how hard I have to search to try to find representation of same-sex couples and same-sex weddings. And small things like when you go into a store and you see this really, really cool t-shirt, for example, and it says, I'm his, she is mine, whatever. And I'm like, guys, his and hers. What about hers and hers? What about his and his? Again, everything is always taken from a male and a female perspective. I think the most common one that I get is when we're talking about relationships and we're sitting at a dinner table and everyone's telling us about the relationship, and then it comes to me and they're like, T, do you have a boyfriend? And I'm like, no, actually I don't. And they're like, oh, single to mingle. And I'm like, no, not that either. I actually have a girlfriend. Did you even think of asking that? No, because this isn't top of mind for you. This isn't normal, you know? Again, if you see two women together, the first assumption is they're probably sisters, they're probably friends, before thinking that they could be a lesbian couple in love. And I remember having a discussion with someone once, and they were like, hey, do you mind if I ask, do you have a partner? And I was like, girl, thank you so much for using the term partner, because it makes the biggest difference. It is so much more inclusive than assuming that I have a boyfriend just because I am a woman. Small things like when a woman is wearing a ring and then we ask her, tell me about your husband. No, keep it broad, guys. Use terms like spouse, partner, you know. We really need to start breaking these barriers and stop assuming that just because a woman is a woman, she needs to be with a man, or a man is a man, he needs to be with a woman, you know. And I actually remember at the office, my girlfriend at the time sent me flowers, and I came back with these flowers at my desk, and I was so happy. Like, I was so happy, I felt spoiled, and some guy had to come ruin it and ask me, so who's the special guy? And I was like, you know, you just ruined my moment. You just ruined it all, because there is no special guy, there is a special woman. I know I'm getting like really passionate about this, but at the same time, I almost can't even get angry, because I get where heteronormativity comes from. I really do. I mean, if we look at, you know, it's really ingrained in us from a very young age. Like, if we think of preschool and primary school, the books that we're reading, they were always from a perspective of a man and a woman. You know, the parents were always a dad and a mom. If we look at Disney, there was always a prince and a princess. You know, Cinderella had to find her Prince Charming. Princess and the Frog had to kiss the frog that her prince can come out. No! What if Cinderella has a Princess Charming, you know? And this is what it is, you know, from a young age. I think that children are exposed to heterosexuality, and unfortunately this is how they're conditioned. Everywhere you go, you're just seeing a man and a woman. I think this is exactly what people mean when they say representation matters, especially from a young age, because if I was raised seeing two women on TV, and this is what I was used to, I wouldn't be shocked if I saw them in real life. It wouldn't be a thing every time I saw a gay man kiss his boyfriend, you know? And that's exactly what heteronormativity is, again. That the fact that what we're exposed to on a daily basis is always taken from a heterosexual perspective. So I have a serious obsession with Grey's Anatomy. Like, I am obsessed with Grey's Anatomy. And when they brought Kelly, she's lesbian, she's bisexual, into the show, and later in the show she had a wife, Arizona. You can imagine how happy I was just to look at a couple and be like, on TV, on one of the most watched TV shows in the world, I am seeing two women. And it's not spoken about in this, a fantasy. It's normal. It's just, you see their lives, you see them get married, you see them have a child. There's so many ways that they explore the relationship from a normal perspective, and I really do enjoy that. And I think this is exactly why when I'm very guilty of this, when lesbians watch shows and they find a lesbian couple, we literally, let me not say we, let me speak for myself, I literally fall in love with that couple. I'm so invested. I Google everything about them, only because it is so rare for me to be seeing my kind of love on TV, you know. And I like that a lot of shows are really breaking these barriers nowadays. It really makes such a big difference. And the other day I was on Twitter actually, and I saw this tweet about some girl saying, I'm not homophobic or anything, but I get really uncomfortable when I see these guys kiss on TV. I'm like, how is that not homophobic? How many kissing scenes have we seen on TV between a man and a woman? And no one says anything about that. But the minute two people of the same sex start kissing on TV, oh my gosh, pause, change channel, guys, what's happening to TV? I get it, guys. I get that you guys are gay and stuff, but you don't have to shove it in our faces. Can you guys stop shoving heterosexuality in our faces if that's the case, you know? I think we just really need to just broaden our minds and not necessarily think of the norm as two men and women. I'm gonna keep saying this in this video, guys. If you think about, if we ask a kid when a child is lost, the first thing we ask is, where's your mom and dad? No, what if this child has a dad and a dad? You know, we don't even care to think about such things because of the way that we've been conditioned and the way that we've been raised. So again, I think we just need to be more conscious about the way that we ask questions and speak about things, you know? Coming out is a really tricky one for me because, I mean, if you've seen my previous videos, you would have seen that I've come out to family, I've come out to friends. I'm constantly coming out to new environments that I enter, you know, in the workplace, you're always coming out. But if we technically think about it, coming out as a notion is further perpetuating heteronormativity because straight people never have to come out. And we coming out is almost marking ourselves as different. And I don't know, at the same time, I find it very necessary, hence why I've come out so many times, is because I hate it when people assume that I am straight, you know? So I don't know, I'm really caught between a rock and a hard place when it comes to coming out because, again, I find it very necessary to come out, but again, I don't like further perpetuating heterosexuality as the norm in the world that we live in. I don't know. Ideally, I want a world where no one has to come out, but we know that we are years and years away from that, unfortunately. There are so many more examples that I could share with you all about heteronormativity, but I'm very aware that, you know, we can't be here forever. So I'm going to stop right there and just say, you know, if you have any more examples that you'd like to share, I'd really appreciate it if you left them in the comment section because I'm really interested to see what else you guys are all experiencing out there. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it a lot. And again, I want to say that just because I am someone who is homosexual and not heterosexual, it doesn't mean that I don't find myself having those heteronormative thoughts. But again, I am constantly calling myself out, and I'd like to just challenge you guys to do the same. You know, just be more conscious of your actions, of your thoughts, and you know, of what it is that you are calling people, saying to people, and so forth. And I promise you, one small thing like that from your end could make the biggest difference in someone else's life. And I really appreciate it, all of you who keep continuously watching my videos as well as the new viewers. And yeah, guys, cheers.